Now, I think probably worth giving a bit of preamble here. Charlie Kirk was a titan of conservative activism in the United States. He had such a large reach, in fact, that when I went to bed last night, my wife was like, "Did you hear about Charlie Kirk?" And I was like, "How do you know who Charlie Kirk is?" She said, "Oh, I used to watch his debates all the time." I had no idea that my wife was a Charlie Kirk fan because she just never brought it up. And this is the sort of thing I'm talking about. It's like he had a reach that was much further than people realized because he appealed to the actual normal debates normal people were really having in the real world about transgenderism, about whatever issue of the day was. And so the kind of hyper online political types that, the sort of environment we operate in, he reached well beyond this and had an enormous influence on political commentary and politics generally, conservative politics generally, especially, but also on left-wing politics, actually. He was a regular figure of hate for the left, and honestly, I really would feel bad for the way that they would, frankly, go at him. It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible, especially as if you've ever watched any of Charlie Kirk's debates or any of his commentaries, he wasn't, sorry, I have to say, a raging firebrand.
I think that's why they hated him. It's easier to deal with somebody who's coming at you strong because they can just brush it off and they can shout their retorts and they can shout their slurs. Charlie didn't give them the opportunity to do that. He was so reasonable and so measured, and he genuinely tried to have conversations, and it simply exposed the fact that these people are incapable of articulating their worldview.
He was a complete gentleman about these things.
One of the most disturbing aspects of this is that he was the dialogue guy.
Yes. His entire shtick was being a debate bro.
Right.
I'm here for the democratic process to engage in the public discourse, in the marketplace of ideas, so we can talk out our differences and maybe find common ground. That was his entire point.
And what it says is, of course, we don't want dialogue. We're not interested in dialogue.
Well, I think we'll come back to that in a bit, because I think what might be worth doing is just saying, Dan and myself are both fathers. Charlie was 31 years old. He had 2 young children and a wife. So it could be any of us.
And his young children were there.
And his young children were there, which is just awful. But anyway, let's begin by going through the actual details of what happened, as much as we know them.
All right, yeah. So the whole podcast today is going to be about Charlie.
Yes.
Different aspects of what happened and his life and everything. So to begin with, just the events of yesterday. So here's an image of him not long before throwing out MAGA hats, and it was in Utah Valley University. It was called the American Comeback Tour. So we obviously had a number of, you can only assume, had a number of events lined up, and yeah. So as I understand, very shortly after it began, I believe, sort of a single shot rang out.
So Charlie was taking questions from people lined up to a microphone, right? It was a fairly standard format that he does.
Yeah.
Whoever wants to come up and ask him a question and challenges him, and then he answers the question, and then they have a back and forth over it.
Classic Charlie Kirk format.
Yeah, nothing.
One thing to say, we're not going to show any of the clips. There's one long-range, low-resolution clip and one terribly distressing close-up clip, and we're not going to show either of those. But they're all over the internet. If
just
you're
a warning to people, if you're thinking of looking it up, my view is that I wanted to see it because I wanted to face it. I want to see evil for what it is, but it is horrific. So if you haven't seen it, just take a measure of whether you really want to or not.
Yeah, I mean, we are going to talk. We're not going to show it, but we are going to talk about it a bit anyway. I would just say that I actively try and avoid anything like that, but I did seek this one out and watch it just because I know we've got to talk about it, and it's actually important. It's not just a random murder.
No.
But it is terribly graphic. Really, really distressing. Horrible. So, okay. A single shot rang out, and seems like it must have been a rifle, right? If it was over any sort of range, it would have had to have been a long. Yep. People running away, and I mean, at first, when it first happened, well, I'll talk about my experience. I was recording with Nate from the little channel I've got with him, The State of Politics, yesterday evening. I came in about 8 o'clock to record with him, and I hadn't seen it. I hadn't been on Twitter for a few hours. He just said, Charlie Kirk has been shot. And it was the first I'd heard of it. No one knew if he had survived or not. And there was the grainy long-range clip where you could see he'd been hit, but beyond that, you just didn't know. And so we did a recording, and in that, we're still saying we hope he's all right and stuff. But it emerged, people saying he's been taken to hospital, there's lots of blood, but he's been taken to hospital and he's stable. That was the news for a while.
Yeah, I was following it adamantly on my phone, obviously, because someone, I can't remember who it was, messaged me with Charlie Kirk's been shot. I was like, what? And this was almost immediately after the news had broken, so I was looking and couldn't really see anything, and then I started seeing it popping up. And so for about an hour, I guess, I can't remember how long it was now, I was just glued to my phone, just refreshing, hoping, because they were like, oh, people immediately like, look at that wound, which you could see quite clearly in the videos. He's not going to make it. But then you had reports that, from people who were with him in the hospital saying, no, he's in critical condition, but it would have been a
miracle if he had survived that.
And then, it was Tim Pool that I saw that tweeted, he's gone. And I was like, okay, well, the worst has happened then, hasn't it?
Well, I saw the Trump tweet, or maybe it was a Truth Social, confirming that he's gone. To talk about the actual thing, just because this segment is supposed to be about just the facts. To begin with, it looks like on the closer footage, looks like it's just shot in the left-hand side of the neck, but on closer slow-mo, it does look like it's actually shot from the right-hand side, and it bounces off his upper chest and then clips him in the neck, or hits him in the neck.
So I was speaking to Tim Pool about this, and he believes that Charlie was wearing something that they call rifle armor, which is hexagonal ceramic plates that are able to deflect rifle bullets. Rifle bullets being powerful and not usually the sort of thing that a Kevlar vest or whatever could stop. And that's why it appears to sort of deflect off his chest and then into his neck.
But I mean, when I saw it, it's so distressing. But when I saw it, I'm no doctor. But immediately that's an unsurvivable thing. The amount of blood, that injury, just the sheer loss of blood, the loss of blood pressure. You get no oxygen to the brain. If there were paramedics 1 foot away from him, I don't think he would have survived that. Terrible injury.
I don't think you could have survived that if you got shot in the operating room.
Right. Yeah. Well. Yeah. You can't replace like that artery or the jugular or whatever. So terrible. The only small, tiny mercy is that it would have been quick. I imagine he would have lost consciousness either immediately or almost immediately. So I mean, it's not much of a saving grace, but there is that at least, at the very least.
Although what it must have been like for his young family and children,
well,
sat there watching it.
To be murdered in cold blood in broad daylight in front of your wife and children.
Yep.
Just absolutely despicable.
1 and 3, I think they are.
Yeah. We were saying just before, I hope they don't remember it, obviously. I hope they're not old enough to hold a memory of it. Absolutely. And he was taken to, he was rushed to a waiting SUV, but of course it was in vain. We don't need to see it anyway.
No. There was no ambulance there, which is a strange thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't necessarily... there wouldn't normally be, would there?
I'm not sure.
There's not an ambulance when you go and speak at a university or something, is there?
I'm not sure. I think that if there's a sufficiently large gathering, I think protocols suggest there should be.
Or maybe there will be going forward.
Who knows? Yeah.
Going forward, people like Charlie Kirk might want to think about or having a Perspex style screen,
like Trump was
like
the 6th,
like the president or the Pope or something.
Well, if we carry on doing the dialogue thing, yeah.
So to begin with, it broke immediately. I mean, while I was still recording with Nate, it broke that this chap was the shooter or was responsible, and it subsequently emerged that he's not. He's not. So
he was arrested for a short period of time.
Yeah.
And then he was. I saw the I think it was the governor or was it the chief of police who was saying that he had been arrested, but for obstructing justice.
His behaviour is very strange. It's almost like he was causing some sort of distraction or something. I mean, he was shouting. He was shouting, "Shoot me!" I mean, he was.
Was he the guy shouting, "Shoot me"?
Yes.
So I think he had a gun as well, but it turned out just to be a pellet gun.
Yeah.
I think that might have been the next one. I'm not sure.
Okay, because someone else was arrested and then released, right?
I think that was him.
Oh, okay. You see a guy, one of the cops here, with holding a gun at one point. But anyway.
It's not a firearm.
We don't know much about this guy. We know that he's an older man in his 70s. He's of Jewish background. He's a registered Democrat. But I mean, apart from that, we don't know
wasn't
much
him.
about him.
So
yeah.
So why was he shouting in the crowd?
Yeah. Was he involved in a conspiracy? I.e., meaning just more than one person? By definition, is a conspiracy. Who knows? We don't know. It only happened yesterday. But yeah. So Kash Patel at one point said, "We've got the person," but then it later transpired that they had.
So
it.
I think he's referring to a different guy that we don't have a photo of.
Right.
Yeah, there was a report that a 25-year-old was also arrested.
It's subsequently been ruled out.
But he's been ruled out too. So
when I first saw the older chap, my immediate reaction, because we've done stuff about assassins before, and I've been interested in political assassinations throughout history. My immediate reaction was, probably not. It's hardly ever an old guy.
That said, the second Trump attempted shooter was an older guy, wasn't it?
It's not unprecedented.
Yeah.
There have been assassins in their 40s and 50s or even 60s, but it's super rare. It's a tiny minority of them.
Sorry, Karen.
Yeah. So it's not impossible, but it's unlikely. Okay, so there's some evidence have emerged of people saying that there's a guy on a roof.
Just a quick thing there. Yeah, I thought I was right. The Steve Scalise shooting, the mass shooting at the baseball game, was a 66-year-old man.
Right. Yeah.
So it does happen. The radicalized boomer is a thing.
Yeah. No, and throughout history.
Yeah.
Occasionally it'll be a middle-aged person.
Actually, the guy
nearly always someone extremely young, in their 20s or even younger sometimes. Lots of assassins that are like 18 and 19.
The guy who randomly assaulted Rand Paul. He was an older guy, and more than that, he was actually his neighbour as well. But he was just watching mainstream media one day.
Watching MSNBC.
Yes.
Getting right up.
Yeah. You think he'd already be...
So this is footage of people claiming... we don't know.
Yeah.
Bit of speculation here that this person on the roof there was the shooter.
Assuming that isn't even a person on the roof. It's hard to say what that is.
I think it is, because
I'm sure it is.
A bit like there's
more
another
footage
clip.
of him running away.
Yeah, I've got that. I've got that. In fact, it might be the next thing. Yeah, so here's a clip. Is it... oh, well, okay. Let's just watch the clip. It'll... See that?
Yeah.
It was quite quick, but this person running off there. Again, we don't know if that is the shooter, but that's what's sort of being heavily speculated at this point.
I mean, if I was a betting man, which I am,
I would definitely put my money on that being the shooter.
Yeah.
So again, just to the facts, it would have been a kind of a well. People discuss whether it's a long-range shot or not. They're saying it's about 200 yards, not meters, yards. Now, if it's a rifle...
About 600 feet.
In that ballpark.
Yeah.
In that ballpark.
So, I mean, I would consider that a fairly long-range shot. And I've been to shooting ranges. They're usually about 50 feet.
Okay, so when we talk about these sorts of things, it's like talking about tanks.
Yeah.
Everyone out there has got their own opinion and
I would say I've been to shooting ranges where that would be considered mid-range.
Well, I would say this. 200 yards isn't that far.
No.
So, for example, just to put it into perspective, like the sort of world records level stuff is like over 4 miles.
Well, yeah.
Like 7,700 yards plus. Okay. But that's the extreme.
You're not even expected
outlier.
to make those.
That's extreme. Yeah, that's like world record stuff. Yeah. Okay. But a very, very good shooter, amateur shooter, can hit something with sort of 308 at like a mile. That's not great. That's doable for a very good amateur to hit something
If you
at
know
a
what
mile.
you're doing, that is very achievable.
So 200 yards in the scheme. It's not a close range. I'm not saying that, but it's not that far.
That looks like more than 200 yards to
Well,
me.
that's what is all over
Yeah.
the thing at the moment.
Anyway,
is
what-
200 yards. The thing that I would say about it is that if the shooter was on the roof there, it is elevated.
Yep.
And now that does make the shot a lot more difficult. Because Stefan Molyneux I think he did, I saw someone retweeting him and I couldn't find it, so maybe it wasn't, so apologies to Stefan if I've got this wrong. But he came out, I think, and said, that's a professional shot. I would say not necessarily. It's a difficult shot, it's not the easiest of shots, but you don't have to be a military-grade sniper to make that shot, is what I would say. In the comments, people may disagree with me on that.
I don't know what the difficulty factor on elevated shots is.
Well, because bullet drop.
Oh yeah, I appreciate that.
You'd have to literally like cosine, work out the angles and stuff. So it's not straightforward if you're elevated, either up or down. So whoever did it is obviously not an amateur.
Yeah.
No.
To get one shot, direct hit, which should have been through the chest, which obviously would have been fatal immediately.
So
Well, and it's not just the shot as well. It's the immediate, cool-headed, get up and move.
Yeah.
that as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're not panicking. They have a plan to get out.
and evidently they did.
So all I would say is that it could be anyone from a reasonably good amateur all the way up to, who knows, a professional sniper, but doesn't necessarily have to be some sort of professional, but okay. So there you go. The other thing I will draw some attention to that's just fact is this clip. That gentleman there,
Yeah.
see, I'm being sarcastic calling him a gentleman.
There are a lot of these.
Everyone else ducking down, but he's turning round to that roof and not just cheering. Obviously, that's despicable.
Yeah. But
But like turn round to the roof of that. Like that guy needs to be questioned.
he does seem to be signalling. I mean, he's looking up
Yep.
at the roof because that's where Charlie was, and it hit him on the right side. So he's looking directly along the path the bullet has travelled. So
And not scared about taking a round himself,
Yeah.
clearly.
yeah, exactly. I mean, like everyone else is like, okay, there may be more shots coming.
Yeah.
Make myself as low and small as possible.
All right.
This guy
Not
is
him.
clearly not worried about more shots coming. Why not?
He needs to be questioned.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, okay, that's most of the facts, other than to say that at this moment of recording, about 1:20 Greenwich Mean Time on September the 11th, 2025, the shooter is at large. Which is
I mean, that
obviously incredible and worrying, yeah.
that to me more than anything. I mean, more than the shot, because there are plenty of amateurs who go to gun ranges who get good at shots, and okay, the elevation may have been a factor in a complication of it.
Yeah, but they can work that out via ChatGPT.
Yeah, but there are plenty of good amateur shooters. But for me, the thing that stands out is the getaway.
Yeah.
Very smooth.
Appears to be. I mean, we'll see in the
Flawless.
coming hours or days whether he is apprehended. We'll see. Obviously, we hope he is, but it's a bit late now, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's. I think
Charlie
it's-
and his
it's
family.
assume that he's fled the country, right? So
Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
But okay, those are the facts that we have at the moment.